So, here's my thought for today's training. Sir, right here in the front row, would you read that for me, please? And stand up so they all can hear you. I want them to hear you. What's the thought for today?
If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude.
How many of you would like to have that plastered on somebody else's forehead so they can look at it and see it every day? Anybody? Well, the good news is it's on their forehead. You can read it too. And so that's what we want to talk about, how we change ourselves. Now, I'm going to go ahead and submit to you right now, I did not nobody change anybody. I do not have that power. I cannot stand here this morning and go, in the name of the Father, I call you change. I tried that for the first 3 years. Nobody paid me and it didn't work. And so today, I want you just to look into the mirror of life, open the recesses of your mind and see if any of this makes sense. So let's get started. I think the real essence of my discussion today, my sharing with you, is that attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. How do you see this thing called life? The prism upon which you look, the lens upon which you see life. March 19th, I come off stage in Philadelphia. Major conference. When I come off stage that Sunday, driving back to Baltimore, I hear on the radio, Governor Larry Hogan has a state, an order, lock in place. We couldn't go out the house. It was bad. Now, I don't know if you realize this, but in my business, I depend upon people showing up. You know what I'm saying? So about the first 60 days, I sit there and say, you know, I had a pity party. I might as well be honest with you. What am I going to do? Because I had developed some bad habits. Sleeping indoors, eating, you know, I got some bad habits of hope, and this messed me up. So then what I had to do was realize, I reinvented myself. So I turned the basement of my house into a studio. And for the last 2 years, this is the first conference that I've done outside the state of Maryland. So I'm glad to see people are coming back. But here's my point. You have to change your attitude about things. You have to look at things from the sense of opportunity, not optimistic. So, nothing on earth can help the man with the wrong mental attitude. But nothing on earth can stop the man from achieving his goals that has the right mental attitude. I know I was sharing yesterday about how I hire people. And I want you to tell HR this. If you're in HR, raise your hand. Good. One of the HR people hear this. But this is what I do. If I'm getting ready to hire somebody, and I'm interviewing somebody, I take a piece of paper and put it right on the floor right in front of them. Right where I know they're going to go to the seat. Because you know what I'm looking for?
Pick it up.
Oh, they're going to pick it up. That tells me a lot about their what?
Character.
Yeah, because don't we have jobs where paper got to get picked up sometimes? Trash taken out?
Yes.
I like to ask them this question. This one just messes them completely up. Tell me the number one thing you feel that you're most proud of. Tell me the number one thing that you feel that you're most proud of. Did you know if Thomas Edison was in this room, this is what he'd say? I'm so proud. I failed 1,000 times to create the light bulb. I failed. But man, I'm so excited that I kept going on. Because what am I hiring? I'm hiring somebody with the right what? Attitude. I want people around me to have the right attitude. You know, every once in a while, you have to let some people go. Has anybody had to let some people go before? Had to let them go? Why do we have to let them go? Their vision don't line up with ours, their beliefs don't line up with ours, their attitudes not. Because I'm focused, I'm going somewhere, I'm trying to get somewhere. Every time I take 2 steps, you drag me 6 back. I have a friend of mine who will call me all the time, and it sounds like doom and gloom when he calls, so this is how I handle it. Hey, Joe! Before we get started, tell me some good news, man. Tell me something great's going on. Just quiet on the phone. He hangs up then. You got to know how to change the way you think so you can deal with people that don't think the way you do. I love it. I love it. So attitude, right? So let me talk to you about the 3 kinds of employees that we got in the workplace. And I'm going to hit this real quick. And this is for them, and you apply this to yourself if it makes sense. There's 3 types of people that we work with every day. After studying people for 30 years, I've gotten down to 3 categories. Now you can add as many as you want. But when I send you this presentation, all you have to do is put in a subject line MYP, that stands for maximize your potential, or you can spell it out. So when I send you this, you're going to print this out, and you're going to see why this is valuable. So when I created this and started thinking about the 3 types of employees, I narrowed it down to 3 people. The first group is the engaged worker. They show up on time, they work with passion, they work with purpose, they get the job done. They're the backbone of the organization. You want something done, give it to an engaged worker. The problem is, there's not that many of us. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Seems like there's a lot of people showing up that want a lot of money but don't want to do the work associated with it. A lot of people putting in time, which is the second group. They're not engaged. You know, they're supposed to start every day around 9 o'clock, but they're kicking in around 10:30. They get off at 4, but they shut it down right after lunch. And if you leave them alone, they might go to sleep. Stop looking at each other now. Look straight ahead. Look straight ahead now. And so, the not engaged worker. Here's a sure sign that you met one. Now, I'm going to give you some tips now. This is how you know you met one. As soon as you see them and you say, how you doing? Now, what's their answer? How you doing? Hanging in there. Hanging in there? Well, I hope you're holding on tight, because you only got to do this for 40 more years. And by the way, you're never going to get a promotion, make more money with that attitude. I love the people that tell me they come to work for the money, and I show them that they're telling a lie. Because here's why. If you come to work every day, one more certification, one more advancement will get you more what? Say it. Right. Why won't they go get it? Because they sit here for the money, don't they? They ain't here for the money. They're here for the comfort. They're here for the security. Not everybody shows up with purpose and passion. That's why people like us in the room get upset. Every day we go to work, we got to carry a load for them. So the not engaged worker, the problem is they represent somewhere between 30 to 40, 50, 60, depending if you're in certain industries. And don't get mad at me, but I trained about a couple thousand government employees a quarter. And some of them, well, never mind. You might have some family that works for the government, I'm sorry. But some of them aren't engaged. And I see it. Because expectations aren't set, and we don't hold people accountable. So not engaged workers, large group. The third group is what I call the actively disengaged. They're essentially not unhappy at work, they're just unhappy in life. And every day they come to work and we got to pay the price for their unhappiness. I'm gonna leave him, he's on my nerves. I can't stand him. She's on my nerves. They talk about their family, their life are first. Get to work! That's what I want to tell them, but you know, I sit there, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, this about the 5th day this week you told me that story. Not engaged, actively disengaged. They also are responsible for the group called the clique. You know, like they had a clique there in Alabama where they herd them out to smoke together, and they get outside and all start smoking. They pass it around. Yeah, I can run this place if they let me. I'm way better than the manager, the supervisor. He don't know nothing. They have those scripts here too. Actively disengaged. So these are 3 types of employees. And we want to know why, as organizations, we struggle to get things done. Because the most non-productive group happens to be the largest group. Now watch this. I'm going to prove to you that purpose and passion drives engagement. If you want to maximize your potential, let's work on your purpose and passion. Does anybody in here have a family member that's in the medical field, a nurse, something like a nurse? Sir, you did? Man, I couldn't imagine that. They pay to go to school, take care of sick people all day. Can you imagine that? Something happens to me, I'm the worst patient you ever seen in your life. You gotta really love that, right? Gotta be purposeful, right? Did you know today there's somewhere a teacher with about 40 kids in the classroom, 20 of them didn't eat last night, 12 of them probably had the same clothes they had on, and they probably are in substandard learning conditions, but the teacher yet gets paid a small amount of money to do this every day. Anybody got any teachers in your family? How's that work out, sir? About like I said?
There's some rough days and some good days.
Yeah. But I tell you what, they're purposeful people. My daughter went and got her degree in early childhood development. And I looked at her and I thought, I should have knew it. I should have knew that's what you're going to do, because you took care of them baby dolls like I've never seen in my life. Didn't show me your purpose. You carried them baby dolls. They changed them. Baby dolls, she changed them 2 times a day. and put them to sleep and fed them. She cared about kids. She always wanted to be involved with kids. I didn't see it. I saw something else. Anybody got any firemen in the family? Firemen, where's the firemen at? Let me tell you about firemen. At 8 years old, guess what they asked for Christmas? What do you think they asked for Christmas? Fire truck. And they put that truck on the kitchen floor and the living room floor, and they run around putting out fires till they get about 13. Then when they get the Halloween costume, what do you think they dress up like? Firemen, come on, I need some participation in there this morning. Firemen. And then when they get 16, they go down to the volunteer fire because they want to do what? Volunteer. Then when they get 18, they take the test. Because it's been something they're purposeful about. It's real hard to find somebody purposeful that said, they went like this. When I grow up, I want to cut grass. Roy reminded me yesterday. Roy said, but if you've seen Atlanta Braves field, the person cuts that grass must have a lot of purpose and pride. You can tell the difference, can't you? So those are the three types of workers we have. And we got to maximize our potential as leaders. See, the people in the room today can't wait for some of these people to step up and start doing their job. What the world's going on here? You better start working. I got 5 more over there that's ready to go. I can't have non-productive material around me. All right, that's better. Okay then. You got to talk to your stuff. Let me tell you a real quick story about my dog. So I trained my dog to ring the bell when she had to go to the bathroom. So I just believe you can train anything that has a brain. It takes time. So she was had some friends over, and they kept hearing this bell ring. And they said, somebody at your door? I said, no, dogs gotta go to the bathroom. They kind of looked at me. The dog went to the bathroom on the floor. She never does that. Because I didn't train the kids to open the back door and let her out when she rang the bell. See what I'm saying? You got to train everything. I mean, you got to train everything. So she just kind of looked at me like, hey, I rang the bell. I rang the bell. She stood there about 3 times and just looked at me. I rang the bell. I wouldn't do this to you. Then she looked at them. My point is, we have to understand what's engaged around us. As leaders, we carry the load. How many of you are sick and tired of people just coming to work every day and not putting their effort in? Don't raise your hand to that, put your hand down. But I know you are. Why do we allow this? Do you know we're doing them a disservice by not helping them? Some people, I tell you what we really need to do is we need to sit down and have a conversation with them at least once a year that sounds something like this. You've been here 5 years. I'm just real curious. What do you want to get out of your career? What is it that I can do to help you? And man, I'm listening for some key things. I'm listening for them to share with me how I can help them. And there's some people that they're going to be there as long as you let them keep doing what they're doing. But the minute it becomes uncomfortable for them, where you hold them accountable because you're maximizing your potential, you watch what happens. I find it interesting also that the not engaged worker, I'm going to have to say this so it'll be okay. Make sure you look up here on this, okay? If you're here and you're an engaged worker and you're the leader and you're allowing this to happen, the other number ones on your team, they're losing respect for them. They're losing respect for you. They see what you allow them to happen. They see it every day. Does that make sense, sir? You know what they say? Why are you letting them do that? Anybody heard that before? Huh? Don't lose your leadership mantle over people that don't want to come to work and perform. You hold them accountable. Because I got news for you. You got some people on your team right now that will follow you to the ends of the earth. That's probably, you guys work together? I can tell. They always sit together. All the seats in here, they won't sit right together. You must really like each other. They've been looking at each other the whole time I've been training. I don't know why they just don't hire me and let me come where they're at, straighten the whole group out. Because they're going to try to go back and tell it. They ain't going to get it right. And so, yeah, y'all probably engaged workers, and you sitting here right now thinking about we got 2 on our team. Yo, run through balls for us. And the mother 5, sorry, no good. Yeah, But don't you let them ones that your boys, that's on the team player, don't you let them see you allowing that. You won't maximize your potential. Your leadership mantle will dissipate. The 7 keys I'm going to cover here today, in my next 30 minutes, is on the board. All right, let's jump into it. Here's what we do. Sir, you said, what do I do? I'll give you another thing to do tonight. Please do this before you go to bed if you can. If you can't, it's not for you, I understand, but this is important. You should have a personal mission statement about who you are. Who are you? Man, if you took a .45 revolver and I was asleep, dead asleep, and you held that thing in my hand, who are you? My name is Milton Hunt. My goal in life to see the world a better place as a result of my being. The positive impact upon thousands of people's lives I'm on counter while on this earth for such a short period of time. And on the last day, when they put me in the ground, have them say something other than he was a nice guy. To leave a platform that my family can continue this legacy that Dr. Bruce put in me 30 years ago about leaving the world a better place. I want to leave people better. Now, can I go back to sleep? That's what I do. You better know who you are. People follow people that know who they are. Here, leaders, listen to me. You take off running and you stop. If ain't nobody following you, you just out for a jog. You gotta have people follow you. People follow people they believe in. Why? I gotta cover this. Listen. These people have to be convinced every day. These people have to be influenced. You influence people, you don't convince them. It's about 103 degrees at the house one July afternoon. My son was kind of struggling with his grades a little bit. You know, and Daddy used to always go like this, did you want some of this? Is that what you need? You probably can't. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just talking about my father. Relax, don't report me. I thought there's got to be a better way. So I said, hey, Chad, I got an idea. Where's my man, Roy? Remember, teach what you don't want, right? Teach what you don't want. Hey, Chad, I got a great idea. What I want you to do is get on a tractor and go cut the grass. It's 104 degrees. Max's wife said, he's going to die. No, he ain't going to die. I'm going to have water on the cart, on the tractor, and I'm going to have a hose, and every time he comes around, I'm going to wet him. I'm going to let that happen to my firstborn child, you know? Ain't crazy. When he got done cutting grass, he said, Dad, okay, what was that all about? I said, listen, watch. Listen, I wanted you to know what it's like to cut grass when it's 104 degrees, because what if you decide to start a landscaping business? See where I went with that? See where I went with that? See how I changed it up? I told him some things. I said, don't worry, next week, you get to be the foreman on a bricklayer job. Yep, you in charge of all the bricks. You got to bring them bricks all day long. My friend had a bricklaying company. I said, please let it work. I'll pay you to pay him. He worked there for about 3 days. Guess what he said? I said, man, we got one more project. I got a buddy's a master plumber, needs 200 yards done. And you the digger, man. He said, Dad, I see what you're doing. I think I'm going to go back to school and get real good grades. I said, okay, this is up to you. Sometimes you teach what you don't want, because you can figure that out, right? How many of you know what you don't want to do? Absolutely. You got it tattooed right in the back of your mind. So maximize your potential. You got to have a purpose. What's your purpose? What's your purpose? Listen, it's not that recreation department. That's what you do. That's not it. It's bigger than that. See, the problem is once you make it the recreation department, what happens when they take the title from you? How many of you have seen some people that have lost their titles and seem like they just lost their whole lives? Because you base yourself upon the title. Because if a man gives you a title, a man can take a title, but a man don't take your character and your purpose from you. Matter of fact, you're way more than what you do for a living. How many fathers, brothers, wives, daughters, you're so much more community leaders. Some of you take care of multiple families in this room. Some of you are volunteering, doing some outstanding work. Some of you are touching people that don't even really know where it's coming from. So we're so much more than that. See yourselves above what you do. See that as your vehicle to do the things in life. Find a purpose. Here's how you know you've discovered your purpose. It's real simple. You'll enjoy doing it. Matter of fact, I might as well tell you now, they did not pay me what I normally get paid to come here. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because I said, if I come here and do a good job, they'll do what? They'll hire me back. And they'll tell somebody. So you turn one job into how many?
1,000.
Hey! I found somebody. Stay with me then. This might be for you. Because I changed the way I think. And plus, I've never been to Alabama, so I said, well, okay. Here's my point. It's way more than what I do. I need to touch somebody so I feel good. So my point being is when I fly home tomorrow, I want to know I touched somebody. Man, if I could just help one person. If I get 2 or 3, that'd be great. But just one person. So you gotta have a purpose. What's the next thing? You gotta have relationships. I'm gonna give you the 3 relationships that are paramount that you must have in your life. The first relationship you have to have is with yourself. I gave you an exercise about looking in the mirror and figuring out if you like that person. Dr. Bruce said every morning when you brush your teeth, look in that mirror and ask yourself this question: do you like you? Because if you don't like you, you're gonna take you with you wherever you go, and other people are not gonna like you either. I've had some rough days in that mirror. I didn't like that fella. I turned around when they looked in the mirror and brushed my teeth because I couldn't stand that. Because I had to be honest. Second relationship you should have is your significant other, your spouse, your pet, your partner, your bottle, your favorite beverage, whatever it is you have at home you spend quality time with. Because if you're not in a relationship with something, you're incongruent. When we're incongruent, man, we're out of balance. You got to find a relationship of some sort that you have to have outside of yourself. I encourage you to do that. Third relationship is paramount that we have to have is with the people that we spend 60% of our life with. A mutual working relationship with our co-workers. Watch this. You have 168 hours in a week. If you take 7 times 8, say you sleep 8 hours a night. I do about 4 or 5. That's plenty for me. You get as much as you need. If you sleep 8 hours a day times 7 days a week, that's 56 hours. That's 1/3 of your life you spend asleep. So let me give you some good advice. Get a pillow that works for you. And a mattress that's comfortable. And if the person next to you snores, you need to put them out the room because you got to get your sleep. You got to go to work the next day. And so think about it. 1/3 of our life we spend asleep. The other 60% of that other 2/3 we spend at people work. How many people working 50 hours a week? How many people got a device on them that they keep up with you all the time so in case something happens, they know where you at? That's work. Don't you lie. How many people got them on Saturday morning, you was off, and you jump in the truck and said, man, I'm going to be late? You willing to admit it? How many of you be at home and you be thinking about, did I do that report out? Did I do? Because it's all about what? Work. Man, I'm getting better. I have to take my phone and literally do this. Me and my friend are having dinner. She'll look at me and I'll be going like this because I'm trained. I'm trained. If it makes any noise, see that there? Is anybody else doing that? I'm trained. Then I put it on silent. I can't wait to get it out. That's worse. I'm going to tear my pockets up. I have to put this down. Did you know when I'm talking to somebody, I literally got to put it in my back pocket so I don't look at it? Because you know what it's called when you're talking to somebody and looking at your phone. You know what that's called? What's it called? It's rude. It's rude. Okay, it's rude. It could be rude. But you have to be in a relationship with people. People want to spend time with people that they enjoy being around. People that bring value to them. And so, watch this. Your inner circle is made up of people that think like you, they have the same common beliefs, and they have the same interests. They may be even doing some of the same similar things you do, because we're creatures of comfort. So our relationships speak volumes to who we are. I want you to get some new relationships that stretch you a little bit, that push you out of your comfort zone. See, life was not meant to live in the comfort zone. I was driving down 95 2 weeks ago, heading to Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I'll never forget, when I got into Virginia, across the sign, welcome to Virginia, said rest area. I thought, that's nice. But when I pulled in there, guess what? It said no overnight stay. I thought, well, it's designed to stop and keep going. All too often, we have rest areas in our life that we show up and we don't check back out. The comfort zone of life is not meant to be a place where you stay. Figure out what your own comfort zone is and stretch out of it. Reach outside of it. Build some relationships, people that stretch you. The next form that we have to have, or the next principle is self-image. Now, self-image is no more than what I think about myself. And I gotta tell you, your self-image can get a beating from some people that really are very close to you. Like, I'll give you an example. I'll talk about myself. You sit back, relax. My mother kind of had something she'd say all the time to me, and I guess she didn't want it to come true, but she said it so much it came true. You know what she used to say? You're going to be just like your daddy. Oh boy, I fulfilled that prophecy. Here's another thing too. People that have authority in your life shape your self-image. I told a story about being in 1976, being in the 11th grade, looking out the window, staring out the window, supposed to be paying attention. We was in English class. And the lady said, "What's a conjunction, Mr. Hunt?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I was looking out the window." And by the way, I told you I quit school 3 times when I was in 9th grade. I don't know how I got in that class. Don't you tell nobody. And man, they asked me what was a conjunction, and I couldn't answer. Little did I know, not paying attention that day would land me down the hall. Well, we had 10 kids in the class, and we all had to wear hair gear. We rode a bus that wasn't as big as the rest of the buses. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Especially then. And you don't get no dates in that class. You don't get no dates. You don't go to no proms, and kids make fun of you. Man, I remember that affected my self-image. I remember the first time as being a senior in high school, I finally did get there. This boy said, "You a half-breed? What are you?" I didn't never heard that before. So I went home and asked my mother, "Mom, we half-breeds?" Man, she started crying. I said, "Oh, I already know what we're going to do now. That boy's got to pay the price now. We're going to school tomorrow to straighten out some stuff." You know what I mean? I never forget going to the bank in 1983. I want to get a loan. The guy said, "We don't loan money to Native Americans." I remember getting an award as a minority contractor of the year. And when they gave me the award, they thought because I was Indian, I was going to do some kind of dance. I was supposed to have feathers in it. This ain't no Western, man. This is business. And so our self-image is shaped by all the things we've seen, said, heard, and done. When I was in the 4th grade, the 3rd grade, I'll never forget this. Teacher called, you ever hear the teachers called the name of you, say here, here? Well, I didn't raise my hand. And they said, "Milton, I called your name." I said, "You didn't call me what my father calls me, so I don't know that name." You know, you little son. Don't worry about it. Shape my self-image. And all the things I've ever seen, said, heard, and done. Every failure. Jenny Wozniak, I remember asking her to dance. Now, I played on the football team, so I had a jersey. You know, we wear our jerseys. You know what I mean? You already know. And I walked over to Jenny, and I wasn't going to ask her, right? I backed up. I was kind of a little nervous. Jenny was way out of my league, man. And you know, I let the football boys talk to me. "Go get her, man! Hunt, go get her! Go get her! You should dance with you, boy! Go ahead!" Man, it was like walking across the Red Sea to get over there where Jenny was. I got the courage up and got over there, and Jenny looked at me just like this. And I'm still looking for Jenny, so if y'all know where she's at, you better tell her I'm looking for her. Jenny looked at me right in the eyes and said, "Dance with you? No! Get out my face!" I turned around and start walking back to the boys. You know they weren't sitting there going like, "Is this all right?" I never forget that. I look for her on Facebook. I'm looking for her on Instagram. I'm looking at her records. I'm looking for that woman. Laugh at me like that. I hope I find her. Look at her now! But no, I ain't gonna do that. So, self-image, right? What's impacted your self-image? How about the people that we're mentoring and bringing along? How are we impacting their self-image? Are we being good finders? Are we pouring into them? What they say, they follow you because they believe in you, or they follow you because you're the boss. And I should submit to you, people quit bosses, they don't quit jobs. People follow people that are going somewhere. Dr. Bruce told me, Milton, your self-image will carry you to places. Either you will enjoy it for the rest of your life, or you will wish you had never been. I remember being trapped in my own body, not feeling worthy, not feeling like I could accomplish. And it wasn't until this happened that I realized everything inside me, I could create and do anything that I put my mind to. So I started real simple. I set some small goals. Get up at 6 a.m. Like, you know, we used to get up about 1. You know what I mean? Set some small goals. 9 o'clock, do this. Had to set some incremental goals. Read 15 minutes before you go to bed. Find a reason to be positive today. And Dr. Bruce kept pouring this into my life. It took 12 years for it to make sense because I had so much garbage in my head because of my poor self-image. Folks, here's what I want to tell you. The most powerful thing you can tell somebody, and please write this down. Please write this down. Here's the most powerful thing you can tell somebody. I believe in you. And I'm telling you, if you got a child at home, please tell them that before you go to bed tonight. I believe in you. I believe in you. There's something about when people feel that somebody believes in them, they perform to heights that's unbelievable. Just because, and what they do is, Dr. Bruce taught me this. He said, you borrow my belief that I have in you until you can get the belief that I see in you. Because I see you as you're going to become, not as you are. I remember, man, I used to walk away from going like this. Man, this guy's getting on my nerves. But I was so fortunate. We were a Native American program. I was 18 years old. And you know, I was an at-risk youth living in Baltimore City, so we had to go to our program that was monitored by people that wasn't using, doing bad things. And, you know, it was either that or you go to one of these places, detention centers. So this particular night, I'm lying against the wall. They said, all right, everybody against the wall. Like, you know, they treat us like we were in jail. You might as well. They said, it's mentor night. What the world is that? When he walked in, he picked me. Let me tell you who he was. He was roommate with Rudy Sargent from the Pittsburgh Pirates. His father was doorman at the White House. He was the first black president, school principal, president of some big association, principal education in the state of Vermont. He was voted by the United States federal government under Secretary Shalala, Clinton administration. He was voted the #1 man in child abuse and neglect in the United States. And he was a PhD. He was a phenomenal guy. He would share with me in his private study the pictures of him and Kennedy. When Kennedy would sit talking to his fathers. And I just really looked at him like, I can't comprehend who you are. Because I didn't see that. Do you think he forced me out of my comfort zone? All the time. All the time. But he told me this, I believe in you. Tell people that. The next thing is fortitude. Do you have the ability to overcome obstacles? Can you stand in the face of defeat and keep going on? I happen to believe that life is going to come by and sit on your doorsteps at the most unopportune time. Some of you are going to get home today, tomorrow, the next day, and find out some things have happened. But that's what makes us. When we go through something, we come out better, stronger. 3 things can happen to people that become the most devastating things, and they never overcome. Let me tell you what they are. The first is death. When death comes, we don't understand the grieving process. It's really tough if it's a senseless death. Now, I'm not saying all death is senseless, and I'm not saying some is all done. I'm talking about a senseless death. What if you can interpret that definition? Death of small children is tough for people. Death is real hard for people to overcome. The second thing is divorce, depending upon the type of divorce. Yeah, there's kids, money, infidelity, all kinds of abuse. It can be very devastating. And the third is some type of health concern. Cancer, heart attack, stroke, something debilitating. When people go through these are tough things and obstacles in life to overcome. So Dr. Bruce began to talk to me about these. It's almost like he had a crystal ball. I went through all 3 of them in 18 months. Now I might as well tell you the real story. This is what's really going to help somebody. Please don't miss this. Don't miss this. 2007, I was institutionalized for depression. And it was really bad. And I didn't think I was going to make it. Went to one of the top hospitals in the country. And I remember sitting there thinking there's got to be a better way of life. I had lost my way. My mom had died. That was the hardest thing. I'm the only child, man. It was tough. I got divorced with all the garbage I told you. Then I just lost it one day. Here's what Dr. Bush told me. Watch this. He said, I believe in you. He said, all this is happening for a reason. He said, the day you'll stand on stage and tell it, and share your story, you're going to impact people because 25 million people a year have depression. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. I was good with everything you said, but if you think I'm going to get on stage and tell people I suffer from depression and I'm a motivational speaker, they ain't hiring that guy. I don't know what it was. I was in Ocean City, Maryland. I'll never forget. It was a law enforcement conference. I remember speaking and something just said, tell a story. I told the story. When I came on stage, people were greeting me, and they began to talk about, man, that was powerful. And this one guy started walking towards me in a full state trooper uniform, unclipping his revolver, walking towards me. And folks, I gotta tell you, I've been greeted in a lot of ways. Some people want pictures, some people want me signs and things, but the revolver, that was brand new. When he got where I was at, I could see him, and I started moving around and said, I'm gonna talk to you. Was it something I said? He took his revolver out and stuck it in his mouth. He said, last night I had this gun in my mouth. I was going to kill my kids and then myself. He said, I'm listening to your story. It sounds like you were able to overcome it, that you can stand and talk about it. Whew, man, my knees got weak and I fell down. I didn't know what to say because I thought my life was over. Here's what I'm trying to tell you. When you go through something, don't you internalize it. You give it away so that you can become stronger and help somebody else. Does that make sense? Good. That's all I'm going to say about that. You have to have self-discipline. You have to discipline yourself. And I got to tell you, COVID came and I don't know what happened. I lost all form of discipline. The refrigerator had me held hostage in my own home. Every time I walked past it, get over here! Okay. Ate some cake now. Okay. What I bought the cake for anyway. Me and Briar's Ice Cream's having a love affair. Man, I love Briar's chocolate ice cream, man. If they had some here, I would get us some. If they had some, I would get some.
Bluebell.
Huh?
Bluebell.
Bluebell. Okay, well, as long as it's chocolate, man, I'll cheat on. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I won't be faithful. And so my point is discipline. What do we need to discipline? Sometimes our emotions, our lives. Anybody work with somebody, every time something happens, it's a 911 emergency. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! And you go, what's wrong? What's wrong? Copier's broke. What in the world? And they just can't manage their emotions. Anybody got some people at home that emotions are out of control? When you walk in, you go, oh my goodness. Okay, you just gotta say, right? You gotta manage our emotions. Some other things we have to discipline too is also our tongue. Did you know I had to learn the hard way that everything I'm thinking I don't need to say because everything I have to say everybody don't want to hear? And I thought because I was staying up here I could say what I want to say. Not so. They'll fill out an evaluation and they'll say, don't you bring that fool back. And that's what you should do too, is fill the evaluation out. But don't say don't bring that fool back. But my point is we've got to discipline ourselves. Our habits, our daily habits are the key to our success. How will we discipline ourselves? The next is we have to have a plan for our lives. We have to be the architect of our lives. When Dr. Bruce gave me this principle, this is what he said to me. If you don't plan your life, don't worry about it. Somebody with goals will be real by real soon to tell you what to do, and you're not going to like it. And he was absolutely right. You have to take control of your own life. You have to be your own architect. You have to design your own life. You have to have goals for your life. Now, I set goals 30 days at a time. I can't set 1 year goals. I can't set 2 year goals. I get confused. Remember, I'm the tortoise. All I do is take one step forward. I can do something for 30 days. Watch this, 30 days, man. I can do it. Every day, 6 o'clock, I read the same thing. Got to! That's all my goals. Read it every day. Certain things I do every day. I have it in my phone, an alarm, my watch or alarm. It's time to do that thing! Okay, I gotta do that. Got enough devices to remind you. Alexa in the house says 6:30, you know what to do. I'm like, goodness, Alexa, give me a break. Use your devices to help you become disciplined, to set goals. Here's another thing about goal setting. It's not what you achieve when you set the goal, it's what you become through the process. It's what you become through the process. Set goals for your life. Next thing is you have to have the right attitude, right? And we've been talking about this, the way you see things, your perception of life, the way you understand life to work, the way that you see through the lens that you look. We were working in Maryland, we were working in Washington, D.C., and I'll never forget the last big snow we got like 4 feet of snow, and they shut down everything, and they called and said, get out of the building right away, get home, 95, just get home. And the guy was with you like this, he said, are you serious? Are you serious? 4 feet of snow was shutting down? Everybody's panicking? I said, man, they said 4 feet, not 4 inches, man. I know! I said, okay, well, where do you live? The 4 feet of snow is not a lot, because I got to hear this. He said, Anchorage, Alaska, we don't shut down until it's 12 feet. So see his perception? Different than mine, because his experiences were different than mine. And when people have different experiences and gone through different things, their attitude's going to be different. I'm not here to change the way you think. I'm asking you to examine your belief system and your attitude. Finally, if you think about your job as a position that you can influence people, you'll maximize your potential. If you look at your job as somebody in charge, I can influence people, I can change people. It must be able to work together. You gotta be able to work with people. And now I gotta tell you something, I'm a know-it-all. Is any more know-it-alls in the room? Where's the know-it-alls? Raise your hand, it's okay if you're a know-it-all. There's one, there's honesty. I'm a know-it-all. If we get in a meeting, I know it all. Anybody been in a meeting like that with a know-it-all? I see you looking at me real strange. I know who you are. It's okay. I teach by feel, so I can look in your eyes and read your soul, because your eyes are your windows to your soul. You ain't got your mask over your mouth, not your eyes. You can't fool me. And so just keep that in mind. You got to have knowledge. What kind of knowledge did I say you have to get? I told you at the very beginning of the class. Not general knowledge, but specific knowledge. Very good. Stay relevant. Those people that remain relevant won't become irrelevant. In changing times, we have to stay relevant. How do we stay relevant? By the knowledge that we get, the people that we influence, the teams that we lead. And finally, here's what I want to tell you. If you get this book, it'll change your life. Start with Why, Simon Sinek. I encourage you to get this book. Man, this guy's a phenomenal author. Everything he talks about starts with why. Why do you do what you do? Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you don't like to read, I got you covered. Go ahead and get Audible and listen to it when you're in the car. Turn that DJ off. You don't want to know what he knows? It's going to keep you broke. Because he's telling you what he wants you to know. You turn that off and you put on what you want to hear. You take control of this 3-pound matter on the top of your head called the brain. You control this. Get that book.